It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Well, we made it to another weekend. What's happening, everybody? It is time for the Geno Jones Show. I do it live right here on my YouTube channel, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. As a matter of fact, thanks to Restream, you can see me live right now, streaming live on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page. So, the Geno Jones Show. Like, share, subscribe, tag it to all your friends and family and kinfolks and co-workers and church members and fraternity and sorority brothers and sisters and neighbors, even folks you don't like. I don't give a damn. Let them see the show anyway. All right, it might do some good. Get some education, as the kids say in the hood, some education in their life. All right, and shout out to everybody, all my new subscribers. If you'd like to be a sponsor of my show, I'd be honored. If you'd like to advertise, want to get some information, as a matter of fact, just go to my YouTube channel, and I'll give you some more information at the end of the show. All right, so today I want to call today Feel Good Friday. I'm going to talk to a good friend of mine named Rose Simmons, her, and a gentleman named Dimas Salaberios. He is the director, and they are working on this documentary called Chicago, America's Hidden War. Very powerful documentary, and we're going to talk about that. And also joining me on this Feel Good Friday will be my cultural contributor, Miss Keela Carson, doing her thing up there in the 248 and 313. So, since the theme of the show is Feel Good Friday, let me start off by congratulating Gayle King, the CBS This Morning news anchor. She announced this week she is going to be a grandmother. Yes, Gayle gonna be a grandma. Now be careful. Don't call Gayle a grandma, because Gayle don't want to be called grandma. I ain't mad at you, Gayle. I get it. All right, I'm not a grandfather, and I'm not rushing to achieve that status. I have no control over that. I do understand that. Now, Damaris, that's another story. She can't wait to be a grandma. But, yeah, whatever. Papa, Geno, whatever. Yeah, I'm good. I can hold out for a while. So congratulations to Gayle King. Her daughter, Kirby, is due to have her baby, or their baby, her and her husband, in September of this year, September of 2021. But Gayle is looking for some help. Like I said, she says she doesn't want to be called grandma, so she needs some ideas on what to call her. She came up with some kind of name that she's kind of leaning with, called like Gianna, not Gigi. She said she didn't like Gigi. It's G.I. something. So I think Gayle needs some help. So help the sister out. Maybe give her an appropriate nickname for her soon to be in this world, her grandbaby. As a matter of fact, the son about babies, they probably won't be able to pronounce it correct anyway. She'll probably remix it and have her own little pet name for her grandma or grandmother. So congratulations to Gayle King. So let's go right into this. My guest today, I was telling you about, they are behind this documentary, a very powerful documentary called Chicago, America's Hidden War. The film exposes the real pain in Chicago's inner cities, the south and west side of the city primarily. Do you know, since 2001, since the beginning of the Afghanistan war that is coming to, America is finally leaving Afghanistan. Our troops will be out by September 11th. President Biden made that announcement a couple weeks ago. So we're talking about this is 2021. The Afghanistan war started in 2001. So in the last 20 years, 10,000 men, women, and children have died because of gun violence. I mean, when I saw that number, I got a headache just to wrap my brain around that. That's the city my birthplace. 10,000 people have just needlessly died. That's 10,000 families. So It's a very powerful documentary. So I don't want to waste any more time. Let's bring on camera. Of course, you see to my left the lovely and talented Miss Keela Carson, contributor to the Geno Jones Show. And there she is. Let me unmute everybody. Rose Simmons. And we'll be expecting the director, if he gets a chance, he's going to join us, Brother Dimas Salaberios. But Rose Simmons with Chicago, America's Hidden War. Thank you for joining us. It's great to see you, lovely ladies. Black definitely don't crack. All about it's the melanated magic here on the Geno Jones Show. So Rose, thank you. So let's talk about Chicago, the documentary. Now, when is it? When is it come? It's going to be. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to be in somewhat of a limited release at theaters, the actual brick and mortar theaters where people can go in, and it will also be streamed online. So tell us all about that.
Sure. First of all, Gino, thank you so much for just having me here on your show. I am very proud of you. And I remember when it was in its conception and you were talking about it. So here we are, it's manifested. And I just have to give you your props, on the web and say, you did it, brother. And it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I'm so blessed and honored to be here.
Thank you, my sister.
And also to our guest here. Well, I'm the guest, but
to my co-host, Miss Keela Carson.
to your co-host, it's very nice meeting you. It's lovely to be here.
Nice to meet you, Rose.
Thank you so much. And as Gino said, we're awaiting the director of Dimas Salaberios of Chicago. Wow, this is really interesting for me to talk about because I'm coming into this film, the shooting and the making of this film in 2018. And that's on the heels of my father being assassinated in Mother Emanuel AME Church in 2015. So it was an experience. And can I say that my life has changed because of my father's death, and it has put me in a situation where I am being asked to be in these type of settings and surroundings with gun violence and so forth, and people actually want to hear my opinion or how I feel about it, and that's exactly what Dimas did as the director of Chicago. Because he was a producer on our film Emmanuel as well, and now the director of Chicago. And I tell you, those few months that I was there in your home city, Gino, I've never been in myself in a situation where I literally was afraid. I'm not such a fearful person. I can hold my own, okay, as most of us can. But I was really afraid in that setting because in learning about the film, of the content of the film, that so many people have lost their lives. We're talking children. We're talking innocent babies. We're talking young people. We're talking people who don't expect to live past 21. They think that that's as far as they can go. And even just with that mindset, having to come in there and be able to give a voice of comfort to some families, and to be able to just experience that. It really changed me on the inside. It really did. And it made me realize that nothing doesn't happen. Am I saying it the right way? Everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And because of what I had to process through with my father being assassinated, basically inside of a church building, I was able to have some compassion for the things that are going on in Chicago. And I want to talk about that a little bit more once our director, Dimas Salaberios, gets on screen. as he will go through that as well.
Well, let me jump in here, Rose. Let me
Mhm,
and I haven't seen the doc yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now,
mhm,
I I hope, this is my hope, that one of the things that you guys can address in the documentary, having grown up in Chicago myself,
mhm,
I still go on a regular basis. My
mhm.
mom lives in Chicago, so I have dual residence because I'm back and forth making sure that she's
Right.
okay.
Sure.
And my biggest complaint with the media in general, when I say the media, is that you could look at CNN or Fox News or your major networks, and you would
Mhm,
think that you can't walk down the street without somebody shooting at you. First of
right.
all, that's not the case.
Mhm,
Second of all, the majority, like not, probably 95 to 99% of the majority of the violence is really concentrated in a handful, maybe 3 or 4 neighborhoods on the southwest and north side, certain pockets of the north side, primarily on the south and west side of Chicago, and just certain neighborhoods. I could go on my old neighborhood. Inglewood is one, West
yeah.
Lawndale, Austin, Roseland. But the majority of the violence is
Mhm,
concentrated in those areas. Not the
yeah.
not the majority of the city. And it's not like
Right.
you walk down the street and folks are shooting at you. But that's the narrative that the media has really um, they have exploited. They've kind of it's a perception because you have people who didn't grow up in communities like we
Yeah.
grew up in, and so there's a natural fear because it's just that the evil and the evil brainwashing of white supremacy has
Mhm,
basically uh, taught the world that just the black bodies are dangerous. That anytime you
yeah.
see a black
Yeah.
person, that they are to be feared and that they're dangerous and that they're going to be violent. So that's really a pet peeve of mine. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's even been a pet peeve with the media because it's like I said, it's a handful of neighborhoods, and it's a small concentrated group of people. A lot of the violence is retaliatory.
Mhm,
Family members, maybe some rival gangs, a family member gets shot and killed, and then that family they want revenge, and they're violence interrupters in Chicago. I don't know if you guys got a chance to meet any in the
yeah.
documentary that are really doing some great work, but they're not funded. They don't have the proper funding. I mean, that's a whole different show because the the social ills that's not just in Chicago, but in all of our major cities. I'm sure there are neighborhoods in Detroit, here in Charleston, South Carolina, in Atlanta, in Philly, in New York, in Houston, in Dallas, in Los Angeles, all over to where neighborhoods that have been neglected
Yeah.
socially in terms
Yeah.
of opportunities for jobs, food
Yeah.
deserts, no hospitals,
Yeah.
inferior
Yeah.
schools, over policing in a very militaristic way with not any social services. You got people that are in pain. And a lot of times that pain and fear, like you said, a lot of those young peoples in those communities, they don't believe that they'll even live to be 21. So this trauma, it's like being in Afghanistan. There's like a
It's true.
post-traumatic
Yeah.
stress disorder going on. I mean, these communities need so many social services, and they need educational, vocational training, better schools, and that's a whole different conversation. But
Yeah.
what was
It's
some of the
interesting.
what was some of the
Interesting that you say that.
what was some of the main themes that you guys were able to unveil and reveal in this documentary?
Well, I mean, you just said it because that is exactly the consensus that we were able to get when we were there. I mean, it is concentrated violence, and we were able to actually go into those neighborhoods. I remember Inglewood. I was there, and the other neighborhoods. I think it was Mount Vernon Avenue. Am I saying that right?
Mount Vernon, that's a
Mount,
neighborhood a little further south in Chicago. It's on the south
a
side
little
of
further
Chicago,
south.
a little
Okay,
further south. Yeah,
I
Mount
remember
Vernon.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
But you're absolutely right. Now, as far as the city of Chicago, I loved it. It was beautiful, and it was just really a place that I would love to go back to and actually have time to visit in that area. But when we were out in our places where we were actually doing um, our shots and so forth, um, actually, we actually heard gunshots. And what was interesting was when I was actually going into a beauty store for to look at some items, and then we heard gunshots. But the people there seemed to be so immune to the gunshots until they just stopped, looked in the direction of the where they heard the shot, and for a few seconds they didn't do anything, and then they just went on about their day. However, we jumped in the car and we removed ourselves from that part of the street in that city. But yes, I mean, it was an eye-opening experience. I'm just a country girl from South Carolina that moved to Virginia, and that's where I'm going to be. Okay, so the larger cities, of course, like Chicago and New York and so forth and so on. As an adult woman, I'm getting used to becoming a part, going visiting and so forth, and understanding different city habits and different city issues. So, it, I mean, you hit it spot on there, Gina, what you said. It is concentrated, and we learned that a lot of the violence, especially in the young people's arena, I don't want to say the social media. I'll say social media. That just covers everything. Okay, but that's what we were hearing from those people who were probably some active and inactive at that moment shooters.
Yeah.
Right.
And it really broke my heart. It really did, because it was like there was no hope. And I am Miss Hope, all hope, and I'm Miss Optimistic.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
ready to believe when nobody else wants to believe. But I did experience, when I first got there, a sense of hopelessness. But as I was able to talk to the people, especially the ones that lost family members, and they began to not be a statistic to me, but they began to become humanized to me.
Yes.
And I was able to put myself along with them, having losing my parent in a traumatic way. So it the, Demas did a great job. Demas Salaveros, who, like I said, who's not on here. Uh, this was a dream in his heart, and he'll tell you the story. It is so interesting of how we were able to get the funding to be able to do this movie. Another success story, another person who wants to give back to humanity, and that's exactly what we were doing. We were giving back to humanity, just from ourselves. And I tell you, just being able to do that, it was remarkable.
Key, you got a question
Um,
for Rose?
yes, I do. Rose, what is the goal of the movie? I mean, we understand that there is violence in Chicago. I mean, you've had movies with Spike Lee, with Chirac, and then you have The Shy, the TV show. So people are aware that there is an issue in Chicago. We've experienced it as well in Detroit. That's where I am at.
Yeah.
So we do understand. But what does the movie hope to do beyond just informing people of a problem that they already know about?
Get some help. Can we help Chicagoans to get some help into Chicago so we can turn these numbers around? And, as you said, there are many other movies, many other shows, but what we wanted to focus on was going into the areas where there are active shooters, as Geno described. I can't call those neighborhoods, but you can. And just talking with those shooters. And that's what we did. I was actually in the middle of a heroin deal, and I am trying to lead this person to Christ in the middle of a heroin deal.
Wow.
And you know what he said? I said, "Can I pray for you, honey?" He said, "Yes, ma'am. Please pray for me." And I prayed for him right there in the middle of that deal and walked on to someone else.
Did you get, Rose, did you get a sense that poverty is one of the biggest issues?
I think poverty greatly is a great factor. Yes, I do think it is, but I didn't get a sense that it was the main factor. I think there are other factors that are involved. One thing I did notice, or we found out, all of these schools were shut down.
Yeah.
There was, Geno, you could talk about that.
Yeah,
there are so many schools that had been shut down, and I didn't understand that. And they were vacant. We actually abandoned is more I guess the word than vacant. We actually one of the cameramen and myself, he actually went into one of those abandoned buildings, and there were homeless people, schools.
Yeah.
He saw where this is interesting. He saw where the teacher had written on the chalkboard the last assignment for the students in this abandoned school, and it didn't look like it had been abandoned, more than 10 years, maybe even just 5.
Yeah.
The desks were up to date. There were even, still school supplies in there, and I couldn't understand that. Why are you closing all of these schools? I didn't understand that.
Well, let me jump in, Rose, if I can. Let me answer that question in part for you. I've got family members that have been very active in keeping a lot of these public schools open because, as a matter of fact, the elementary school that I went to from K to 8th grade, Nicholas Copernicus on 60th and Troop, which is on the south side of Chicago, which is right around the corner, literally a block from where I grew up. That school is closed. I went to Paul Lawrence Dunbar Vocational High School, and there were attempts to close that school. Now, the reason that had been going on, and especially under the administration of Rahm Emanuel, which is a whole nother conversation. I don't have time to get into what I think about Rahm Emanuel as a mayor, and he was a Chicago native. That's a whole. We can come back and do a documentary and just let me let me just narrate it. I can just me and the camera looking in the camera like I am now talking about Rahm Emanuel. But what I learned from my cousins who are still very active on the school board in the community they live in on the south side of Chicago, over in the Bronzeville neighborhood, is that a lot of these schools were allowed to close because it was part of a gentrification plan. Yeah. It's like, we want to get the people, the poor working class black people out of here. So one great way to do it is to close their schools down. Then they're going to be forced to move to different areas, and then we can come in with the gentrification, and then we can reopen the school, and then they can change. Then when they close the school, that means that when it's reopened, they have to have new principals, new teachers, new curriculum, everything. So there's a plan, and there's been a plan for why now they'll claim it's money, but I'm telling you what they won't tell you on camera.
Yeah.
What I know for a fact, because I have, like I said, family members that have been actively involved. As a matter of fact, they saved my high school because they wanted to close Dunbar, because the area around Dunbar is near the McCormick Place, and they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars, probably close to billions now, in just renovating that entire area around McCormick Place, around 22nd, Cermak Road, King Drive, State Street, Indiana, literally about 6 or 7 blocks from where my mother lives. My mother can actually walk 8, 9, 10 blocks, if she can walk that far now. But it's walking distance. The Erie Crown, they opened up a venue called the Wintrust Arena, DePaul University, which is on the north side of town. But they play basketball in this Wintrust, and Wintrust is the bank, so they bought the naming rights. So the point I'm trying to make is that why are these schools closed in a lot of these neighborhoods is all a part of how they want to gentrify the neighborhood and move residents that's been living in these neighborhoods for 30, 40, 50, 60 years and get them out of there. And I know Keela's in Detroit. I'm sure she can tell you the same story about neighborhoods in Detroit. Rose, we can talk about neighborhoods right here in Charleston, South Carolina,
Yeah.
Atlanta, New York. You name the big city, and there's some kind type of gentrification. Look at Harlem. I mean, there's probably more white people in Harlem now than black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in when you think about Detroit. It happened in what is or was our Midtown area. That was a total success if you are a supporter of
Yeah.
gentrification. And now it's the East Side, and downtown is a done deal. Downtown is I, I don't even recognize what that is anymore. From my childhood, this was a place where we rode our bikes and literally rode our bikes downtown, or caught the bus and went to festivals and did those things. And now when you go into downtown, um, the black faces are not there. It's replaced by other populations walking their dogs, and I mean, it's totally different
Yeah.
than my experience. And I'm not saying you don't feel welcome, but you do sense that, this doesn't feel familiar to me. And maybe I don't want to hang out here. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand the gentrification aspect. But Rose, I would ask you: have the parents of the uh, or family, I should say, of individuals who lost family to gun violence and other kinds of violence, are they banding together in some type of structured way to make their case, or are they just kind of battling on their own how they can?
Sadly, um, the ones, that I was able to come in contact with, they actually expected this to happen to them.
Wow.
One lady in our film, she just knew that her son would not live, past 21.
Wow.
I mean, it's an expected thing there, in those neighborhoods, like you said, and I I was just thrown back all the way, just listening to her interview, and then in speaking with her personally, and hearing how it was, and someone said that someone got killed around the corner, and I knew it was going to be my son.
Wow.
And I couldn't wrap my mind around that. I couldn't.
Did you
And
get a
I
sense
think it's
that,
expected.
Rose, did you get a sense that the kids felt that way too, that they didn't expect to live themselves?
Yes. The young kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, yeah, they had the same sentiment. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Rose, I got about a minute left, and I know you. Anything that you are involved in, you will find the silver lining. You will find the lemonade out of lemon. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a theme or message somewhere in this documentary that will give the viewers and to give the people hope. So I got about a minute before I lose your satellite. So
Okay.
what's the positive message that comes out of the documentary at the end?
Well, as I said, we're reaching out for help from different other communities, other cities, and we're saying this is a problem here in Chicago, and we are willing to come back to Chicago annually, monthly, however it needs to be, to spread love. First of all, I think I'm one of those hippie kids. Okay, I'm gonna say love. Love conquers the world. So I think that's what's missing. And I think that there needs to be a level of trust in the neighborhoods as well. I think the relationship between the police and the neighborhood, that needs work. Yeah, I think that needs a lot of work. But as we were talking earlier, I I have come to find that there is hope, but we've got to work together to do this. And please, 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 to your audience, please come out to theaters on May 12th. It'll be in select theaters. We're still adding theaters daily. The name of the film is Chicago, America's Hidden War, because that's exactly what it is. And I think we need to reveal this to the world. But as you said, we all know it, but we just wanted to get into the depths of it. And like you said, Gino, find how this is happening, and then we can get together and stop it, because there are active shooters. And I think if we can get that taken care of, I think Chicago will blossom.
Well, and the beautiful thing about this, let me say this real quick, is that when we find a solution for this problem in Chicago, it's not just a problem only in Chicago.
Exactly.
We can scale the solution that's used in Chicago and scale it and use that same scale in Detroit, in New York City, in Atlanta, in Houston, in Dallas, in Philadelphia, in Miami, in
Right.
Los Angeles, in St. Louis, in Memphis, in
Right.
Jackson, Mississippi, and use it all over. So, Rose, real quick, it's gonna be streaming on what platform also? On you said May 12th, right?
It's May 12th, and it will be streaming on all platforms. I'm not sure exactly what major platform, whether it will be Stars or HBO or that. The director has that information, so I'm not sure about that. But please go to the website, which is Chicago, America's Hidden War. And if you just Google that, you'll find the film and find all the information that you would like to have.
All right. Thank Rose Simmons with the movie America,
Thank you.
Chicago, America's Hidden War, Chicago, America's Hidden War. So, Rose, listen, I want you to get Demos when you get some time before the 12th. I want you guys to come back. We're going to show the trailer from the movie, a clip from the movie, and then we'll get Demos' perspective. I didn't know he was a Chicago native, so I can imagine this is very personal.
Oh, don't say that. He's a New York native.
Oh, is he? Oh, I thought you said he was from Chicago. That was my mistake.
He's not from Chicago.
Okay,
He's from New York.
Okay,
Yeah.
I heard it wrong. So, okay, well, good deal. Well, I'd like to get his perspective. So, Rose Simmons, thank you once again. Once again, Chicago.
It's my pleasure.
America's,
Love you, brother.
I love you too. America's Hidden War, theaters, and on your major streaming platforms on May 12th. But I'm gonna get these guys to come back before the 12th. Keela Carson, you are simply the best. Thank you both. Thank you, ladies. Have a great weekend. All right, that was really awesome. That's going to be a very powerful documentary, so make sure you check it out. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show daily, live, streaming live right now on my YouTube channel and on Facebook via Restream, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern here in Charleston, South Carolina, 5:30 in Chicago live, 3:30 out in Los Angeles. Like, share, subscribe, and tag everybody you know. This episode, go back and binge watch all of my previous episodes. If you'd like to be a sponsor, I would be honored to have you as a sponsor for my show. If you'd like to advertise, or if you need the king, not the king, the king, a pitch man, holla at your boy. That's how you spell Geno Jones. Geno Jones Show at Gmail. All right, or leave me a message right here on my YouTube channel. Shout out to Bruce Gage. Do an Instagram. You can search him on IG, Instagram, Bruce Gage, Gage. Bruce Gage is the official wardrobe and stylist. He's the wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Shout out to Markel Bailey. He is the official barber, hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check him out on Instagram, on IG, Kelby Cuttin, KELBE. Have a great, Tony the Tiger will be proud of you, boy. Have a great weekend. All right? I love you, each and every one of you. I really do, and I mean that. Thank you for watching. Mother, you know I always love you more than life itself. Monday, we'll be back Monday afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching, maybe in the morning. The show is global, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live. Have a great weekend. May 1st is tomorrow. Shout out to all of us May babies, Tauruses, and then the Geminis. They come in on the 21st. We're Ronald Isley. But Tauruses, it is our time to shine. Speaking of birthdays, shout out to Chicago native Isaiah Thomas, fellow Taurian, probably the greatest 6-foot basketball player in the history of America, and played for the Detroit Pistons. I know Keela Carson has probably got her Pistons Detroit basketball. Shout out to my man John Mason, who created that, who does the play-by-play for the Detroit Pistons. But he's a Chicago brother from the west side of Chicago. South side, west side, it's all good. Happy 60th. Isaiah is 60 today. Wonder Mike from the Sugar Hill Gang is 64. And Michael Wright, the brother that played Eddie King Jr., Eddie King. Remember the movie Five Heartbeats that was written and produced by a Chicago native, Robert Townsend Jr. So Michael Wright is 65. Have a great weekend, everybody. Monday, me and you, live right here, the Geno Jones Show. Once again, if you'd like to be a sponsor, you want to advertise, reach out to me, leave me a message, GenoJonesShow@gmail. So until Monday, 6:30 p.m., once again, I want to thank you for watching and be blessed.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.